Hey guys, Jeff here with the Common Sense Camper. I had one of my viewers ask me to put together what I would consider a realistic bushcraft kit. I thought it was pretty interesting because the premise of his email to me was that he sees a lot of videos on YouTube from guys that they go into Menards or a hardware store like Harbor Freight, and they say, oh look, you can put together a bushcraft or survival kit for $25. And he's gone out different stores, and he's new to bushcrafting, and he's like, you know, I don't see how I can do it for $25 with anything that is of any value. And I have to agree with him. It would be very hard to put together a kit that you can use many times over and over again on $25. I think the purpose of a lot of those videos is just to show you that if you're creative, you can get some things that are budget friendly that are going to serve a particular purpose. If someone gave me $25 and they said, hey, you go into the store and I could probably put together something I could survive on for a couple days. But for most of us, we're not going out into survival situations. We're going out because this is enjoyable, we like our craft, and we have fun with it. And it's a hobby, it's a stress reliever, it's, all those things wrapped up in one. So he asked me to put together a realistic, still kind of keeping it budget friendly, bushcraft kit. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this video, put it together, and I never really thought of it from that angle. So this is a realistic kit, and I'm going to give you prices and a total at the very end. So I'm going to go through this, and hopefully this is helpful. And for you new guys or younger kids that are just getting into this is what I would put together. So the first thing, and I just happen to have one new in the box because a lot of people get the wrong version of this. This is the Grabber Emergent All-Weather Blankets, and it's 5x7, and you want the one with grommets. You don't want the bivvy, which I think, though this picture on the back, that's the bivvy. It does not come with grommets, and it's more of an emergency blanket. You want the all-weather blanket. These are pretty durable, and they're excellent for building a tarp shelter with. So I would buy one of those. You can get these on Amazon for $9.46. And that was the other thing that the email included. He wanted me to include only items that you can attain easily. He doesn't want to get his drill out and sandpaper and drill holes and make cook sets and duct tape things together or have to have a wood shop to put this together. He wanted things that A, you could either buy in a hardware store, or B, buy on Amazon. So I tried to put that I tried to take that into consideration when I did this. So the next thing would be 550 Paracord. I just like Rothco brand. I feel that their Paracord is just made better than most. And for you new guys, I would go with a brightly colored type, whether it's orange or bright blue or the multicolored or the zombie green. I like that. That's pretty neat. And the reason I say that is, if you'll notice here, I have several items that have this cord on it, so that if I drop it in leaves or out in the woods, I can find it easily. So I would get something that's brightly colored. This is enough to do my ridge line and set up my tarp shelter. The next thing would be, and the Paracord is $5.95 on Amazon. That's for the Rothco brand. The next would be a roll of number 36 bankline. And the reason I get number 36 and not some of the smaller ones is the number 36, you can pull the strands apart very easily, and you can use them to sew with if you have a sail needle. So that's something I would definitely have in the kit, and that's going to run you about $9.99. Now you can get a smaller roll of it for probably $5 or $6, but I would get the bigger roll. You're going to use a lot of it. The next thing would be stakes. Now this originally came with 6 stakes. I have managed to lose one of them, but for the tarp shelter that I set up, I only actually need 4 stakes. When I bought these, I thought they were yellow, and unfortunately they weren't. They were black, so I spray painted them orange again to help me find them easily if I dropped them in the woods. And one of the things you might want to consider is getting the ones that actually have the hook on them. It's going to be a lot easier to tie down your shelter. So I'd get those stakes. Those are, again, on Amazon for $5.27. The next one is Gorilla Tape. Now this is a used roll. When you buy yours, it's going to come like that. Now, I do not carry an entire roll of duct tape. It takes up way too much room, and it's very heavy. I don't know how many pounds this is, but it's got to be. I would say it's probably 2 pounds, maybe 2.5 pounds. It's just too much. So what you can do is you can roll this off. You can wrap it around, an old credit card. You can wrap it around a tape measure or a paint stir stick, and so that it's flat. And so that's definitely something you want in your kit, and that comes in handy for first aid. It comes in handy for patching holes in your tent. For instance, I had one of these all-weather blankets. I had that up as a tarp shelter, and it was really, really windy, and the bankline actually with the stake tore the grommet. Now, it didn't tear it all the way out, but I was able to reinforce that grommet with the Gorilla Tape. And going forward, whenever I get these, I always reinforce the grommets with the Gorilla Tape. So there's a number of different types of duct tape out there. I've just found that in my construction business, this stuff it sticks, it holds, I don't think the adhesive is waterproof, but man, it is close as you're going to get. So a roll of Gorilla Tape on Amazon, that's going to run you for a single roll $7.49. The next thing would be a Shemagh. Now, a couple reasons I use a Shemagh. One, I have a saying when I go what I call primitive camping, which would be something like this setup, where I'm just sleeping under a tarp tent and just the basics. I always say everything goes on the Shemagh. I will take this and lay it out like a tablecloth, and this is what all my gear sets on so that I don't lose it. If I use something, it always goes back on the Shemagh. In fact, my dad, when we went camping, he was laughing at that. He goes, "Does everything go on the Shemagh?" Yes, everything goes on the Shemagh. The other thing is it's cotton, so I can make char cloth with it. I can use it as a sling. It can be used for first aid. It can be used to clean with. You can filter water with it. There's a million different things that you can do with a Shemagh. In cold weather, you can wear it as a scarf. You put it over your head. There's just a plethora of things that you can use a Shemagh with. I just prefer them because they're larger over a bandana. That's just my personal preference. You can buy those on Amazon for $5.98. Now, the next item is you're going to have to spend some money on. And this is a Bahco Laplander saw. These on Amazon are $20. But I have had this thing for several years, and I have absolutely trashed this tool, and I have had zero problems with it. If I had to guess, this is almost as sharp now as it was when I first bought it. Now, do I have to buy a Bahco saw? No, you don't. There are other saws out there, but for $20, I think this is money well spent. Just because the ergonomics of it, it's lightweight, it works. I know a lot of people in the outdoor community that swear by this saw. So Amazon, $20 for the Bahco Laplander saw. The next thing I don't have on the table, that would be drum liners or garbage bags. And basically what those are, that's going to be your contractor type garbage bags. 40 to 50 gallon, it seems to be a good range. And you'll probably want at least 2 of them. The reason I say that is with your grabber blanket, that's your main shelter. You're going to want a ground cloth to keep the moisture, the cold, the condensation from coming up into your sleeping area. And if you don't want to spend the money, I actually carry two of these. I use one as my ground cover and one as my tarp. But if, again, I'm trying to keep a little budget friendly, you can use that garbage bag or both of them if you're taller. Lay that down as your ground cover. You can collect tinder with it. You can use it as a poncho. You can use it as a tablecloth to lay down on the ground to keep all of this stuff nice and dry. There's a lot of different reasons and purposes for a good contractor garbage bag. So I have those at about $1.20 if you have two of them. A lighter, and just get a Bic. There's no sense in getting fancy with torches. And now I will say this, that there is some merit behind a good Zippo lighter in really extreme cold. And this is something my dad actually told me. The Bic lighter is going to be almost impossible to light. So a lot of the people that are in very cold climates are going to swear by a Zippo. Now a Zippo is a little more money. For me in my area, a Zippo is, or a Bic lighter is plenty. You're looking at about $1 for one of these. And I always try and get the white or clear. That way you can actually, you probably can't pick that up in the camera, but that way you can actually see how much fluid is in the lighter versus the colored ones where you can't see, you got to kind of shake it. So a Bic lighter, $1. Now the next thing is knives, and that always is a big topic when it comes to putting together a bushcraft kit. So I'm going to give you just two options, and I'm thinking under the $20 range that are reliable, that will last you a long time, and that you don't have to worry about. The Old Hickory butcher knife. These you can get on Amazon for $9.46. It's a full tang. The spine is sharpened. You can strike a ferro rod with it. It's plenty long enough. It keeps and holds a really good edge. It's 1095 carbon steel, so you can strike a flint off of it, and you just really can't go wrong with this knife. It doesn't come with a sheath though, so you'll have to buy a sheath. This is an aftermarket Marine Corps sheath. You can buy both of these on Amazon. This is going to be $9. So you're going to have $20 in this setup here. Or another really great option is going to be a Mora Robust. Now the reason I picked the Robust is it has a little thicker spine. The handle's a little beefier and it just fits in my hand better. And I really, really like this knife. Now, you will have to modify this if you're going to strike a ferro rod off of it. You are going to have to file the spine in order to strike a ferro rod because they come smooth. It will not strike a ferro rod. But it's 1095 carbon steel, very wicked sharp edge. I mean, wicked sharp out of the box. Hair popping sharp. The Mora Robust is going to run you $16 on Amazon, but it comes with a sheath, so you're going to save $4 over the Old Hickory butcher knife. If someone said, you know, which one would you pick for my everyday going out, having fun, bushcrafting, camping, I'm going to pick the Mora knife. It's more fun. You can do more modifications to it. It's very sharp. It's just a very, very fun blade to use. If you said survival, and I got to be under $20, it's going to be the Old Hickory only because it's a full tang knife. If the handle breaks on this, I still have a tool. So those are your knife options. The next thing would be a container, and keeping in the budget-friendly mind, I would get this. This is basically just a flask. It's something I can boil water in. You can get two of these on Amazon for $7.79. And I bought two of these, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago. And I use these all the time. I've never had the lid leak. That's usually the biggest issue with less expensive flasks and containers, is that the lids are not worth anything and they leak in your pack. I've not had that problem with these flasks. So if you wanted to up your budget a little bit, then yes, I would steer you towards a clean canteen. But being budget friendly and something that will last a long time that I have had experience with, these do a great job. The next thing is going to be a Ferro Rod. And there's different types of Ferro Rods out there. You have what they call a true Ferro Rod. They have mesh metal. I don't get wrapped up in all that technology with a Ferro Rod. Yes, is there a difference between this Ferro Rod, which runs $6 on Amazon, versus the one that's $41 by a professional Ferro Rod maker? Absolutely. The other one's going to throw off really hot sparks. You're going to get more sparks. But if the spine of your knife is sharp enough, your standard $6 Ferro Rod is going to do fine. I tend to stay away from the ones with the handle, just because the handles usually end up failing or popping out. And I usually get something that's, at least 4 inches. 6 is preferred, because it's hard to hold on to this when you have this small little piece of metal and you're trying to strike sparks off of it. So this one just happened to have already a hole in it, so I could put my orange paracord in it so that I don't lose it. So $6 for the Ferro Rod. Jute twine. This is inexpensive. You can get this at any hardware store for $1. I've seen it in Menards. I've seen it in Harbor Freight, Home Depot. I think Home Depot is probably going to be $1.50. But this is a great fire starter. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this. So I always carry a roll of jute twine. It's excellent fire starter, and that's mainly how I use it. And then I have a good pair of leather gloves, which is going to be about $6 at Home Depot. And then I have a Boy Scout cook kit. This, for me, I think is probably the best value if that's what you're looking for. And again, it's going to last a long time. This is my original Boy Scout kit, and I have used it plenty of times. And I think this was from 1970, I want to say 1979. Yeah, 1979. So these you can find for, where is that? I can't find it on my list. Sorry, guys. This is on Amazon. I can't find it now. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I had to write notes for all this. $7.54. And Tech Sport makes a version of it, which I think is $6 and like 49 cents. But very simple concept. You have a screw and a wing nut, and that becomes your skillet. And then inside of there you have a dish, you have a pot with a bail, and then they typically are either going to come with a plastic or metal cup. And you can't go wrong with it. For under $8, I don't know where else you'd find a cook set that is this nice. Now it is aluminum, so it is going to heat up a lot quicker. It is a little harder to clean, but again, it's something that I have relied on for many years, and you cannot go wrong with this. Now, the last thing is going to be what do you carry all this stuff in? And you can go on Amazon, you can go to Army surplus store, you can buy the old military bags. My dad has one, and we paid $20 for it. It's a backpack, and this will definitely all fit in there. I mean, with plenty of room to spare. But if you want something a little smaller, a little more compact, and something that if you just want to take this out for a day hike or just an overnighter and just have fun, there's a couple different bags I'd recommend. One would be something simple like this. This is just a UTG bag. These are very inexpensive. These, I think I got this one for $19, but all this stuff will fit in this pack, and it's a shoulder sling type bag. So that's one option. Another option, again, that's going to be 20 bucks. Then another option would be the Rothco messenger bag. Plenty of room in that. Everything's going to fit in there. No problem whatsoever. These run $16. Another option would be this, and I believe this is either their engineer's bag. I don't know if it's on this. I always get these mixed up. Either their engineer's bag or their pilot's bag. And one of the things I like about this is on the back there's a piece of plastic, so it's rigid right there. I think it's probably their pilot's bag, because I'm assuming that's probably what they would rate on a hard surface there. But this, again, this would all fit in there. These run about 12 to 14 bucks. Now you're probably asking yourself, all right, what about the Rothco ammo bag? Well, unfortunately, with this cook set, this is not going to fit in the Rothco ammo bag. I'm sorry, but it's too much. It's not all going to fit in here. All of this will fit in here, but this puts it over the edge. So the Rothco ammo bag is out for this setup. Now, all in, you're looking at $120.40. Now, is that a lot of money? Yes, that's a lot of money, but it's a reasonable amount for a kit that you can rely on over and over and over again. And it's also a kit that you can build gradually. You can buy your knife, and you work your way through the kit, and you're going to find that this is going to change constantly. Your containers are going to change, your cook sets are going to change, your blades are going to change, your tent setup. As you learn and progress in this craft, you're going to find that this thing is going to morph and change, and you're going to upgrade as you go along. You're going to buy a nicer cook kit. You might go out and buy a nicer knife. But this is something that is very reasonable. It's under I think the guy that emailed me said he had about 150, 160 bucks to spend. Now I'm well under that at $120.40. And this is a very doable kit. This is also something that if you were to say go to a Pathfinder class, a basic class, I can promise you that this would all be a perfect situation for passing that class. Now you'd have to add some other things like a compass, but for your basic needs, this is going to do very well, and it's under 150 bucks. And a lot of these things you can buy like this. I've seen these at flea markets for $1, $2, but he wanted something that he could attain easily. I'm assuming that he wants to get out there and get in some dirt time, and he wants to get this stuff ordered on Amazon and get it to his doorstep and get out there and start having fun. And I can't blame him, because there's nothing more fun than getting out there and actually using all this stuff. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. Comment below if you think I've left something out, or if you have a better option for one of these things that might be more budget friendly. I'm open to all types of suggestions and comments, and I learn along the way as I do these things as well. So hopefully that's helpful. This is Jeff with the Common Sense Camper, camping out.